Oh,
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spinner Rack. I'm here with my boy Petey. Say what's up, Petey.
yo,
Hey, today we're going to be talking about Henry Cavill is in deep negotiations for Superman Returns. As you can see, the articles from Geeksocity, and thanks to our friend Nerdette for giving us the heads up on this.
this is I think Tristan at Nerdette's Newsstand, and she I think that I got the notification. Oh, I'm not supposed to show it like this. Sorry, guys. You're seeing all of the YouTube in and outs. Let me get out of there. So everyone asks like, "What is that stuff?" That's for your trying to help out your viewing stuff. But let's get past that. We went to this site here. You seeing it?
Yes, we're seeing it right now.
And they talk about they're in negotiations yet again. How do you feel about this?
Hey, I've been saying it, and I've said it in many of our shows. I think it only makes sense. There's a huge audience for Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill has been wanting to do Superman. He's said it, he's expressed it, but he wants to do another movie, at least another movie to express the Superman that he thought that he could be. You know, he thought the whole Snyderverse ended early, but he didn't think he was able to fully develop the Superman character that he is. We have defined he has been the definitive Superman for the last 10 years or 12 years.
He's been the
So
guy, at least, yeah.
yeah, so I mean everybody's been looking to him, but I agree with him that he has not had the opportunity to really do a standalone Superman movie apart from Man of Steel, which while was not as well received, it could have been, you know. And I'm hoping that he will go back to a more classic Superman. He's been shopping. I think he has a particular script or he has a particular story in mind that he wants to have. So I'm all for it, and I hope that he comes back into the MCU. I mean, the DCEU. Sorry about that. Especially with the success of The Witcher and what he did when he was in Mission Impossible. I think he definitely is a talent. You can't miss it. And you have, if you want to sell, if your goal is to sell movies, bring this guy back in. Give people good material, right? Something they want to back. They want to see something with someone where there's a Superman of who they like. They don't want to see an evil Superman. They want to see somebody else. I think DC, and I've said this in many times, they got to get away from this whole dark Superman, dark Batman for every single thing. It can't. It doesn't have to hurt. You don't have to be dark. There's people out there wanting to look at the success of Spider-Man. Cal had once said that Spider-Man and Superman are two of the most gateway um, comics because once you read one, you can then go into others. They're opening, they're friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and I think that Superman, you're leaving money on the table by leaving it alone. You want to redo Superman, you want to have other characters. Eh, I think we haven't gotten the first one completely right since our man Christopher Reeves. All right, so
Yeah, I think well, this is the thing. It's just negotiations, right? So we've seen negotiations happen, which led to the Snyder cut, and we get to see Henry Cavill show up at least and possibly do some reshoots, doing a couple scenes that set up some things, set up possibly a new Adam and stuff like that. So like all that stuff that was in there that they added in there. Then of course, but he was the leading man in the Superman movie, meaning he is Superman, and then saying, "Oh no, we have to go to the Marvel thing. We're doing a connective universe, so you show up in this other film and this other film." It's like he's like sitting there probably saying, "Hey, wait a second, you got Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, you got the Avengers, and then you got Iron Man 3. Aren't you guys kind of doing it backwards? Where you have the leader, then you do your other films, but you still do the Superman film." This is all hypothetical, but as a lead, you want to be on screen. You want to be filmed. You don't want to just show up and say, like Iron Man and the Hulk, where the Robert Downey Jr. shows up at the end of the Hulk and says, "Hey, I'm here," that sort of thing. But it's not something that takes away where he's like, Robert Downey Jr. knows he got another film coming. So that's why it would be okay for him to jump and say, "Hey, I can show up in this other thing. There's no other film coming for Superman. All the deal is like, can we have you show up in this other film, which is like a 5 day shoot, or maybe it's a 30 day shoot where you just stand around and do nothing, and you show up for like 2 minutes of the film." There's not going to be something that someone's going to want to do, and he's making a name for himself, and that's why he's someone they at least have to talk to. They probably were moving away. They were saying like they were like Dark Side, probably looking at Dark Side, saying that him's a problem, he was a problem. But then at the same time, they're looking at Henry Cavill and saying, I don't know, but we would like him to show up in this Shazam movie. And he's like, come on, guys, the connected universe doesn't work if I don't got a film going. So
You mean Black Adam movie?
no, they wanted him in Shazam.
I'm saying, but you
Oh,
see,
the
even
next right after that, they wanted him back, Black Adam too.
the very
Yeah.
fact that he is signed to the same agent, who is Danny Garcia, the wife of or former wife, ex-wife of The Rock. You know, she is the agent, and those are her clients. So she's trying to package it. You know, if he's in the Black Adam movie, it's going to be a hit. You know, the Rock is going to be a hit, and you know, you bring him Henry Cable, I think it will be just an even bigger hit. So I think it's and that would be the spinoff, like you just said, for him to get the Superman role. If he makes it, that's what's going to happen because that's what he's been pushing for the longest. And I don't know if it's DC's is pushing on the cost. I think more like you just said, they wanted to get away from the Snyderverse, and it's something I've been saying for the longest. You can't leave money on the table. Now in the age where when there's so much IP and you want to make a buck off of it, this is the time to do it, man. And here's somebody who wants it. You know, I go around and I see, you know, you get hats and T-shirts and stuff like that. Superman sells nothing like Batman. Superman
Why
sells.
are we talk? We're not talking about Batman versus
I'm
Superman
not
as
saying
far
that.
as sales.
I'm trying to giving an example, and I'm saying this is a property that's undervalued, that's not being run to the best of the ability. And if they did get their act together, you know, the amount of goodwill, the amount of money they can make it. I mean, I'm looking at.
Why does Batman work?
Forget about Batman. Let's look at Spider-Man. So
I'm
we don't
going to
have to
tell
worry.
you why Batman works. Why? Because Tim Burton put him in body armor. Because Frank Miller said that he had Kevlar under his bat signal when he never had that. Once you put somebody in armor, same like Iron Man, then you're like, oh, he can't be killed by bullets. Whereas it's a film. You can show him there's many ways someone, and that's the way the comic book guys do it, saying this guy isn't moving out chasing the bullet. He's out chasing the person with the gun. The person with the gun is going like this, and Batman or Captain America, or whoever your hero is with no body armor, is already moving. He's that good at their job. But for everyone else, once you saw that's the harder part. When you look at the success of Batman in 1989, they were buying possibly kids were coming in buying one Batman thing and 10 Marvel things. That's how screwy the comic books things were, where Marvel was making more money at the same time of the Bat craze. So Batman would have Batman selling, detectives selling a little below that, and Marvel killing the rest of the stuff. So this idea that they just kind of did enough for people to say, oh, Batman makes more sense because he has this body armor. He's regular. Superman has got all that stuff. That's what you did to me, and I'm telling you why.
I know, but I'm saying I'm just saying we're digressing to the point where I said, yeah, I get what you're saying with Batman, but all I'm just saying is that the level of income can be, if they can get half as much as what Batman is doing, you'll see. I see Green Lantern T-shirts selling when they come out and sell out. That's what I'm saying. I think that there's just a lot of potential there, and I think it's crazy now too. Now, in terms of the connected universe, Pete, what's your thought on that? The whole Flashpoint becoming boom, the whole connected universe situation there. You know?
Well, hopefully they're not using him for that. Just to say he'll show up to kind of clean up whatever happens in Flashpoint, that he's evil and they're fighting. The whole aspect of no, because in Flashpoint, Superman is like the way Captain America looks in where Steve Rogers looks in the first part of it. He's been like dwindled down to nothing. Like somehow they found him as an alien, and they a baby alien, and they just sort of siphoned off all his powers, so he can't do anything. So it'd be odd if they brought him in for that, or if they're doing that whole story because they're doing Thomas Wayne.
They say they're not going to do the whole. They're not going. They're going to do elements of it, but they're going to do something different, possibly.
Yeah. So I don't know about that. So he could be in there. He could be under wraps, and because he has a big moment in there, but he's not really the star of it. It's more Flash and Thomas Wayne.
Well, I think, and to me, that's probably one of the biggest, the biggest weakness in the movie. That I think speedsters, and I don't think um, Ezra, whatever his name, Ezra Miller, I think it is, who plays Flash. I think of
Ezra
Quicksilver,
Miller.
Ezra Miller. I think of Quicksilver as a speedster. I like that character, the way he was portrayed in Fox. I like the Flash who's portrayed in the CW. But this guy doesn't give me the same vibes.
He
Um,
looks like North Star from Alpha Flight.
could be, you know.
Dark hair. You just worried about I'm gonna say that word that you dislike. You had to say you couldn't just agree, so I had to go a little further.
We are talking. So I'm just saying. I don't know if he's going to be the star of it. It is the Flashpoint movie. I'm not sure how that's going to work. That's why I think they got to throw everything but the kitchen sink on it. But going back to the whole connected universe, I think it's a great idea because this is what Marvel has been doing consistently. Hey, you know what? You watch this film, we want you to continue watching the other films because there's some history that connects, and that's what people do. Not all the films. You're not going to find like some that's popular, but you're going to see the main ones they're going to come back to. Right now, people went back to go watch. I mean, they saw the whole thing that happened with the multiverse of madness, and people went back to look at Loki to get a better understanding of that. I won't believe they'll go back to probably watch Scarlet Witch when they watch the Doctor Strange movie. This is what the successful strategy is of Marvel: make people buy into this series and then want to. And you may disagree, but that's what's been done. It's a fact.
No, the thing is like this. You can do Batman and Robin where you have Batman, Robin, and Batgirl, and it might be a better story. All it is to cash in more money, more characters. It's not about doing this connected. Yes, there's some connection, but they already showed once they got to, was it phase 4 or phase 3? They were doing stuff, jumping around. Here's Captain Marvel. Here's this. Here's that. It was like, before it was like, okay, this kind of makes sense because we did Captain America in the past, but it's leading to the Avengers in the next movie, right? Now it's like, no, now we got to go back to, like, the connected part is like you're killing yourself for no good reason to try to go into saying you have to have this to do Crisis or Marvel Team Up or Acts of Vengeance or any of these other stories, or what's that thing? Any of these stories, Zero Hour or that type of stuff, where you're just trying to do team up stories. So now you get a point. Marvel's at a point where they did enough okay movies with single characters and hitting who could be in what, and having people walk on saying that the audiences are this connective tissue in the connected universe, right? Because you had Iron Man and you see Robert Downey Jr. show up at the end of Hulk. You say, okay, they're in the same world, right? That's what people said. But at the same time, they didn't do anything to really show them in the same world. They just had this tidbit at the end they shot with one character and they say, oh, it makes sense. So the fans say, yeah, it's all connected. Then when you get to the Avengers, even though it doesn't have the same character that was the Hulk in there and it doesn't have the same design, it's like, oh yeah, all this makes sense. It's the same world. But there were definite changes, but the audience is like, it doesn't matter. The graphics, we understand they're going to change the graphics. Actors, we don't care. You can change the actors.
I'm a little confused. So how I'm that disagreeing? The point of the matter is that the people want to see the connected universe, and it's
I'm saying that the audience is making the connection. Now they're overdoing it to, like, it's okay if you're going to do it for the Avengers, but now it's like you do Shang-Chi. We got to show the Avengers at the end of that. For what reason? You don't need to do that.
You're right, but they want to show the connected universe. And the thing that you look at Spider-Man. Now that they had they just had the No Way Home. Now you see people going back and watching the old movies. Spider-Man was one of the top selling films on iTunes. If you go back to Lakewood, I'm not saying anything different.
Top selling doesn't mean that it's good.
I think it is good because people then go back.
Oh, that is the sequel-itis. They're giving
it?
you more bang for your buck. Having, not just doing, like, having extra superheroes. They one up Marvel, where that Sony and Marvel decided, let's do all of our characters in one movie. That is a studio idea. That's not a storytelling idea.
Well, if you feel that may be your interpretation of it, but the vast majority of people who went back to watch those shows think opposite. And I think again, you can see it again and again that the very fact that Marvel, if you take a look at the top 10 list of the movies, most of those movies were Marvel. And while those movies may not have been directly connected, people feel they have to go and get that Marvel experience because they feel that they're connected with some of these characters because they'll probably show up in other movies in the future or relate back to some of the shows and TV shows. So I gotta totally disagree with you there, Mr. Petey. I gotta totally disagree. You know what I'm trying? Because I don't know what you're watching. You're disagreeing with me when there's facts on the ground, baby.
It's not facts. You can have you have a box office. You can have Batman Forever. That doesn't mean that you have to do Batman Forever all the time, but you can see that Batman Forever was a very influential film for the success of movies, getting bigger stuff, double villains, all that stuff. The only problem is that they had no edge when they went to Batman and Robin. There was nothing to connect it where it's like, oh, you can do the Titanic and this, that, and the other. But at some point, you need to just be able to do a movie with these characters. And the problem is like now, you can't just do the Shang-Chi movie has to be as big as the Black Panther movies, like the anything less than having 3 million characters meet up at once is Thor in the Guardians of the Galaxy.
I see nothing wrong with that because it's been a successful strategy. Not all the movies are going to be the
it's successful strategy. Saying
Ant-Man movies you have, which are not quite as popular. Even Thor, I don't think hit $1 billion for all three.
But you're not supposed to hit $1 billion. That's not the sustainable level of filmmaking, and you can't just say I'm going to put the Hulk with Wolverine to get $1 billion. You can't do that's the equation. That's what I'm talking about. The thing of it, making 300, you make your 100, was it 100 and it costs you 150 million and it makes 4 or 5 million, 500 million. That's it. That like 100 was it 150 and you make 500. That's bad now. You can't do that. This is what got comic books in trouble.
That's not what we're saying. All I'm just saying is
yes, you are saying that. Trying to get to the billion number. You said it. You just said the billion.
I just said not everyone is going to do $1 billion. That's what I said. And so what I'm trying to say, there's different levels of this. But the point of the matter is that many of them are connecting with one another, and or have characters that will be into other different things. So that's what I'm saying.
No, this is the problem. You said billion. You went there. The billion is the number that they're going to
rewind the tape selector, and you'll see what I said. I said not.
No, I'm not saying that. But once you introduce that number, the studios are going to be like, well, what gave us that number? Having at the end all those characters. So Spider-Man, we got to $1 billion again. How did we get there? Because we had all these Spider-Man characters. We didn't do what's the name that we have, and we didn't talk about the other. We had the Dark Knight. They have 1.5 villains in there. It's Batman and his partners, right? That's the story, and it got to $1 billion on a story, right? Not on Batman, Superman. They've been expecting to get these numbers with the Batman stuff and the DC stuff, adding all these characters, and they haven't.
I see nothing wrong with the team-up movies, and you're not going to persuade me because most people want to see the team-up movies. And they're going to be more and more. Yeah, I will call 911 right now. Okay? I will call them right now, and your butt is going to be in the slab.
So we're so far off topic.
Exactly. I keep trying to bring you back.
What did you want to talk? I'll talk about outside. There was something else you want to talk about the universe thing and all the stuff that they're doing. What else about the DC universe is there to talk about?
Well, the problem is with the DC universe also is that you have a lot of properties currently that are not connected, and I think that such as the Joker.
No, stop with.
Such as the Joker, and so the Joker. Thank you for muting yourself and blocking. The fact is that the Joker, for example, how are you going to bring that in? Flashpoint is a perfect vehicle. So if you want to bring someone like the Joker in and put him into a Batman film later on, that would make perfect sense. Now that the universes will be connected somehow. I mean, again, it's a winning. I cannot see Discovery, the organization, the company taking over Warner Brothers, would not do that. I think it's just a perfect opportunity for them to definitely maximize the amount of money that they can make and give audience what they want to see. They like the Joker there. They like the Batman. They put them together. Sony's trying to do that too with their whole Spider-Verse, as we can call it now. They're talking about doing another film with Andrew Garfield. They're talking about doing another film. They're definitely doing another Into the Spider-Verse film, which should I think coming out next year. They're doing the Morbius film coming out. You still have another Venom, and another. So it's a lot of stuff happening, bro. It's a winning strategy.
When movies start going back to 500, 400, they're going to be like, what happened to they always get caught into that. When everything goes back to a sustainable level. So then when you don't have that, they immediately say, what can we do? We need to do another Endgame. What?
I'm not saying, I'm just listening to what you're saying. I'm just trying to have it sway me, which it clearly is not, but
I'm just going, I think getting caught up in the connected universe is not the thing to do. Make your movies, make sure your movies are good. Do the Superman thing. Don't be caught up in having to do a Superman Black Adam, because it's just a fight from start to finish. And it's hard to write a story where you decide that, oh, I'm going to do the first Wolverine, like the second Wolverine and Hulk story is more about them running into each other and getting into a fight, right? And then somebody stops it. That's the story. We're only buying it because we're like, oh, McFarlane, and he's doing Hulk versus the Hulk versus Wolverine. That's the get. The first story, we're not even in it for Wolverine. We have the Hulk fighting the Wendigo for the first whole issue, and then the next one, we find out that these people. I think it starts off where they have people that have something. They have some ulterior motives in mind for the Hulk, right? But at the same time, the Hulk gets into a fight with the Wendigo. They're fighting in Canada, and then Wolverine comes and joins the fight, right? So Wolverine says, I can't work on both of these guys, so let me join with the Hulk. We stop the Wendigo, but at the same time, the person who's trying to help the Wendigo says, all right, we'll take the Hulk and we'll switch bodies. So the Hulk will be stuck with the Wendigo, the curse of the Wendigo, which is, being in Canada, if you can, cannibalize something, you become the Wendigo, that sort of thing. You eat human flesh, you become the Wendigo, right? But what is this?
Yeah, focus on what you're saying, bro.
So the thing is like this. There's a whole story where you had all these characters. We have, instead of the Hulk being transferred, we have this other person, the friend of the girl. He gets transferred, and then he realizes what the girl says. What did you do? And he's like, he said, I took it on because I knew you would never see me. And he runs out, and she's like, no, she messed up. There's a story around it. It's not just about the fight. And that's one of the things, like having a story in this and not saying your first thoughts are Superman and this person. Batman and Superman, there's no story in there. Batman and Superman have different ideals, so they have to duke it out. And that's one of the things I think in when Byrne had Superman did his first Superman meeting Batman has one trick to get away, and he uses it, but then he's like trying to talk Superman down to be like, we both have different methods, and that's it. And then throughout the issue, they decide not to work. Superman's going to let him do what he's doing, but he's watching out for him. And then Batman says, like he understands it, right? But that's the thing. We're bought into this thing of, hey, if we need to. That's a real Marvel aspect of trying to have these guys all be together. Whereas they did do that.
The Marvel team up, they did that. That was popular. So I mean, look, I don't know what your problem is with this. I mean, using your logic, why are we even watching superhero films? It's just like the westerns,
Why is he saying
the market is oversaturated. Let's get this out. They're not coming up with original ideas. What's the point in watching? Let me hear you. Tell me about it. I mean, not like the people with the western, like, oh, there are too many westerns. They're talking about all these different type of stuff.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying to you, this doing stories. Oh my God. There's doing stories, and then there's doing these team up things where the heroes fight. right? Yes, you can get
5 minutes or 5 minutes, not even long, just a couple of minutes. It's not, it doesn't define the story. The fights don't define the story. The misunderstanding. It's just like the Scooby Doo's, you know, they don't, it's just a little bit.
the thing is like having who all right, who is the main villain in the Spider-Man thing?
The Green Goblin.
No, he's not.
And in No Way Home, Green Goblin is not the main villain.
He takes on the villain thing. It's something that comes later. The person who's the problem in the story is Spider-Man. He has this thing. It's his problem. He's the catalyst for the whole thing, right? He messes up the spell. Whether Doctor Strange thinking he could do it is also a fault. The heroes are at fault here. Spider-Man doesn't want to change things. People have got it in their head that it's okay that Aunt May died because he was trying to save those villains. Like what? Like we've lost what the core is because we like Spider-Man so much. He's not taking responsibility for what he did, the mistake that he made. Him and Doctor Strange. You want to put Doctor Strange in there? They both made a mistake, right?
Doctor Strange was led astray, but that's another conversation.
I'm just saying. I'm ending here because I think ultimately we can't. They need to be able to do a Superman movie and not a Justice League movie. Because the hard thing is scheduling out and how to manage the time. They already got two of them with the same movie. Just do a Superman movie, and if it's successful, then you can do more. And then you can have him tied into all these other things. But you know, I don't know. We can't. Yes, the connected universe could be the thing, but at the same time, for me, you're getting caught up in trying to be Marvel when you could just try to do movies. Hold on. I gotta this.
So hey, so I'm just saying. So the whole thing, my friend, is that you know the Marvel strategy of connected universe shows again and again how it works. You know what I'm trying to say? So I gotta totally disagree with you on that end. So if you agree, if you like what I'm saying, please give me a thumbs up, comments, and subscribe to Spin Rack. Spin Rack out.
Hello? What are you doing?
Stop the recording. We ended the show.
You're supposed to carry it till it come back.